Hi, I'm Chris, and today we're going to draw a sweet little collection of 3 potted flowers in Procreate. These are simple, beginner-friendly, and designed to look beautiful together, so by the end you'll have a finished mini collection you can use in your own projects. Let's draw together. If you'd like to follow along with the same brushes, canvas, color palettes, and tools that I'm using, you can grab them for free inside my goodie bag, and I've linked it down below in the description for you. So I'm going to start with my living watercolor canvas. It is found in the goodie bag as well. So it is 2000 by 2500 pixels, just for your reference, and you'll see that it has the canvas layers above here that are locked and a layer that we get to draw on below. So we're just going to start by having a quick little sketch, just sort of figuring out the size and shapes of our pots and our flowers and get those sort of going here. So I'm just going to start with the smallest pot that I'll be doing. So you can actually just draw an oval, and you can also use Procreate if you hold down just to make that snap there. That's fine. Again, this is just rough. You can do the same thing down here if you want, or just draw the curve as well. So it can be rough and really messy at this stage. It's going to have a little sort of plate that it sits on, maybe something like that. Looks like a top hat now. All right, something like that. And then I'll have our flower coming up here, and we'll have just do a circle for it right here. A little leaf here, a little leaf here, something like that. Okay, pretty straightforward. And then I'm going to have some flowers and whatnot down here. Okay, I think that looks fine. Okay, so now we can move on to the second pot, and it will be at this stage. Again, we're going to be able to move these around, but for my initial composition, I'm just going to think about it being behind. So I'm going to draw it back here, and so the bottom of the pot will be higher than this bottom of that pot. So a little bit of a V shape here like this, and you can have that rounded. And then this one will have like kind of that edge to it on top here, like that. Just so it's different. Just make sure that this line doesn't line up with this line. It will look a little bit awkward. So just make sure it's above or below. Just pick one so it's not, coming out from here, because that would look a little bit awkward. But again, we'll be able to move these around anyways. So if we make that mistake, we can fix it easily. So no problem. Okay, so then our main sort of flowers here one will be something like this. And I'm going to make sure that this one is a little bit smaller and this is a little bit bigger, just so you have variety. And this one is going to be going sort of from here, overlapping maybe like that. And that will be smaller than that. So we have different sizes. And then let's have a nice big leaf here and one here. Maybe one in front like that. So these are leaves. And this will be a stem. Okay. And then behind here we'll have another one. So again, this will be up higher, the bottom of the pot. Just do some slight angles. And this one will be the tallest one. I want them to be all different. And this one will have a thicker kind of top to it, that little edge. Make sure that has slightly rounded. Something like that. So they all look a little bit like they're a funny little collection of pots. So, okay. And then this one will have a nice big flower here, and its stem will come here, and then we'll have one kind of a little baby one, a little, not just a slightly open bud. So let's just do it this way. So a scoop, so it's more like that, pointing that way. All right, and then some lovely bits and pieces coming up here, some little leaves and whatnot. Maybe you could even have one that's coming over here, like that. You kind of break it up, a little variety, and have a little bit out there. Okay, so I think just initially kind of having a basic composition that I know works. So we know that will work together in that form, but of course you can also use these individually on their own or rearrange them. It's a nice idea to kind of have a, at least one composition will work nicely. Okay, so with those, we are ready to go and create our good copy. So just go and tap on the N, slide the opacity down a little bit just so it's not bugging you, but you can still see it. Mine's at about 25%. Create a new layer on top. Still with this sketching pencil, I do have it, just so you know, I do have it at size about 22. That's what I'm working with. Up to you how you would like to do that. Okay, so let's give it a start with this pot down here. So these do not have to be perfect. If you want to have a little personality, and by that I mean, like, maybe this isn't perfectly straight across, maybe it's more on an angle. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is an illustration and it's not, a mechanical drawing. So I encourage you, if you like that look, to, have a little fun with it. I'm just gonna have this kind of like this. So it doesn't have to be perfect, perfectly symmetrical. Okay, so in the bottom of this pot, I was thinking of having a few little flowers, just really simple flowers. So all you're gonna do, draw a little circle and then just some petals around like that. Just randomly place them and then tuck them in. So I'm just finishing, the petals here so they're behind. Just have a few like this. And then once you kind of have it filled up, you can just start sort of putting in random petal shapes. That would be, flowers from behind, that kind of thing. Just sort of fill it up like that. Okay, that's probably good. All right, and then let's actually start with the top of our flower here. We're not gonna make this too complicated. This is just gonna be more of a simple style. So I'm going to have petals that are like this type of shape. So start with your main one here. Just kind of using my circle as my guide. They're just sort of going to wrap around this sort of circle here, and then you're going to mirror that roughly on this side. So it's like kind of coming up like that. And you can maybe have one more little smaller one out here, and then you'll see the petals maybe on the opposite side. So those are on the other side. So just something really simple, a little stylized. And then I'm going to have a little bit of the leaves here, kind of like that. Okay, so then let's just have our stem here. Give it a nice curve. Try to have it, not too thick. And then we can have the leaves, just a simple leaf shape. And maybe this one should be a bit smaller. Oops. Let's just have it like that. And then you can take your eraser and just have it really small. Probably do have it even smaller than that. Just to kind of get in there so these connect and don't look awkward like that. That makes more sense. Back to my pencil here. And I'm just going to do a simple vein like that. Okay, so that's our first one. So you can see that on its own, it works. I kind of like it. Maybe that angle is quite fun, especially with the curve. It has a little bit personality. Okay, I'm also going to add, you can do whatever you want, but I am going to make designs on these pots. So this one, it's going to have a little heart. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So let's create a new layer. So let's just actually rename this flower one. Okay, and then I'm going to create a new layer and we'll go to the pot below. So it might be easier for you to turn off this layer, just if you want to see behind. If it's, a bit distracting, you can do that. All right, let's go do the same thing behind here. So I'm making sure I have my new layer, and let's just do this pot here. So again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I kind of don't want it to be on purpose. And have a slightly rounded. That looks good. Okay, so for these flowers, they're going to be super simple. We're just going to have a circle in the center. Maybe make it little bumps around here like that. That's kind of fun. And then all you're going to do is just follow the circle, but you're not going to outline it exactly. You're just going to like kind of, I'm just literally pushing heavy light pressure just to sort of make this sort of dotted line kind of thing. You're just alluding to that sort of fluffy, almost like a dandelion, but not really. I don't even know. I mean, none of these flowers are really real, so it's just a style. Just kind of make them kind of fun. So I'm doing a few layers just down at the bottom, and then you can just have a few dots at the top. It'll kind of make it look like it's more weighted and shaded at the bottom and lighter at the top. So just kind of creating texture. And then you can come and have your stem here, just like that. Actually, I'm pushing a little bit too much. There we go. Right through it, so you see it right through it. Again, just variety. It'll change it up, make it look a little bit different from the others. So we're gonna do the same thing with this. A little circle, a little bits around the ends. Go around with the pressure. And this one is going to be smaller than this one. I'm just trying to have a variety of shapes and sizes and textures. That's what makes it interesting. Some more little bumps around here. Okay, and a few on the top. Okay, that's enough. That's good. So then this can follow through here. Okay, wonderful. And some nice broad leaves from the base. Okay. Simple veins through there. Now, you see I have made this quite curvy, so I'm going to make sure that I've returned that around there. So you'll see the back side of that pot. And let's just turn this off, and that looks good. I'm happy with that. So let's just, we can see this. That's working. Lovely, wonderful. Okay, so I'm just gonna say rename flower 2. Okay, so we can turn these 2 off and just finish up this one. So let's create a new layer again. And we'll just do this pot here. So I'm going to just draw this little bit of greenery that's going to be coming over here. So I'll just do that first. Okay. Something like that. And that looks good. Okay, let's just focus on this flower here. So let's just do a small center to it. And we're going to use our guide, our basic circle that we did, just to come up. Now, if you want a little bit more guidance, you can. You can turn this up a little bit more and go back to that sketch layer. And if you want, you can kind of give yourself some parameters to work within if you'd like. Just kind of divide it up like that. If that helps, you're welcome to do that as well. So what I'm going to do is go back to my new good copy layer and just, make it a little bit unusual shape petals. This one can come behind. You can kind of alternate. This one is going to be a little bit foreshortened, so it's going to be coming, well, a little bit. It's going to be turned up. So we're just going to come like this, and, well, you can kind of curve it like that shape. But then here, do this little line here so it looks like it's turning up a little bit. Sometimes you got to work on it a little bit to make sure that it returns a little bit nicer. So it's kind of flipped up there. You can see the underside of it. Like that. And then this one can just be something like that. Let's see. Yeah, that's fine. That's good. Okay. And then this one, we're going to see, you know, it's going to be the side of it. So we'll have our little green bits here, and then have kind of similar shape, sort of what we were doing over here, just sort of a wiggly, soft one. Have one at the side, another one here, and maybe you'll see a bit in behind. And that's all we need for that. Okay, so then we can draw our stem, which just, you know, make sure it's coming from here, right? I mean, you can draw it all the way and then erase it if that's easier for you. Just make sure that logically would connect. And then we'll have our greenery. I might want to bring this in just to see. Yeah, that's fine. Filling in the shapes, again, just so I know this particular composition works perfectly. And this can come off of here, this little leaf attached to that stem. And then we have, and these can be, they don't have to be attached to anything. Again, it's a little bit of style just sort of spilling out there. It's kind of fun. Okay, I'm going to turn this off, this sketch layer, just put everything on, just to see. I was going to do maybe a little bit of veins in there. And then here I am going to do a little bit of detail. I'm going to come back and do a little bit of detail on that flower as well. Just have the lines grab light pressure at the top, heavier towards the center. I'll just make those folds look like they're, you know, just giving them a little texture. Just all coming in from the center, or to the center. And just angle your canvas however it's comfortable to do it with your hand. Okay, I think that's good. Now I'm going to go to this layer here, flower one, and do the same thing. Give that a little detail. It's not much, but I think it adds some nice depth. So let's just name this flower 3. Okay, so that's great. So we can get rid of our old sketch layer. We don't need that layer anymore. And we can focus on each one individually, and let's get started with that. So I can turn these off and we'll just do this one. So I'm going to create a new layer, tuck it down below. Let's go, actually we'll go here and just get we'll do the monoline brush, and we'll just do our solid fills first, just to make it easy. And then we'll go and just grab this, let's say this color here with the monoline, and we'll just fill in our pot. So all I'm doing is just going up to the edge, simply filling it in. Nothing too crazy about that, just making sure that the line is continuous so that when I fill it in, we can do that. If there's a break in it, you know, if there's a break in it, it's not going to fill. It's going to overfill, so make sure all your lines are together so it does fill. Just fill that in. All right, and that's good. We'll create a new layer, and I'll just use this light green. We'll do the stem. You can have this all your solid fills on the same layer if you wish. It's up to you. If you're concerned about layers, just do the solid layer on one layer. I like to do mine on multiple layers, so I have the easy option of changing the colors if I wish. But if you are concerned about layers and you don't have a lot of space, you can do your solid fill all in one. It's just, yeah, it might be harder to change your colors, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, so I'm going to create a new layer and do the flowers. And this one, you know what, this one you can do easily. You can do these flowers and this flower on the same layer, and because they're so separated, they're not touching, it would be easy to change the color of them. I can show you that in a second. So we can just fill this all in, no problem. And then you can color this in. I'm going to actually choose a separate color here. And we'll pick that. Might adjust these colors a little bit, but they'll be correct for you. Just gonna color this, actually this whole thing, because you want it filled. I'm just gonna color this in. I guess I could drop it, but sometimes I feel like coloring it in. Okay. So you can see because they're separate, I can easily go and change that color without affecting this one. So that's fine. If they're not touching, that's fine. I'm going to make this a little bit more purple, I think. So yours will be correct. I'm just going to test it here. Yeah, maybe a little bit more over here. Okay. All right, I'm going to change this one to that. Maybe I'll move this over here. So then you have the purples together. That will look nice. Okay, and I'm just gonna make sure, maybe I'll do the lightest. I'm gonna start with the lightest colors and then we'll build them up. Okay, so that's good for that. I can also go on this layer with this pink and do this heart too. So that stands out and that looks good. Okay. You know what else we need? Our little dots inside of these little flowers. So we'll have to create a new layer for that. Let's just use this light color here and just do that. Okay, wonderful. So with this, we're gonna go ahead and collect all of our layers just by swiping to the right, tap on group, and we'll just, again, name this flower 1. Okay, so that is our flower 1. So we can open up the flower 2. We'll do the same thing. We're going to create a new layer, so it's just below your line work. I'm going to grab this color here with the monoline, and we'll just fill this pot. And you can go all the way around, because we can go over top with the green for those, for the leaves and whatnot. Okay. Then I can create a new layer. Just choose the light green. Fill these in. Okay, great. And then we can create a new layer. And this one I'm actually going to put below because, if I can drag it, because this green I want to be on top. So the stem is coming through. So it's almost like it's see-through. Okay, I'm just gonna pick this pink color so you can see, because I think that one of the colors might be a little bit light. I'm afraid it won't show up as easily, but so I just wanna make sure you can see what I'm doing. So actually this one I might keep pink and I'll make the other one a bit lighter. Okay, so this one I actually want to be this color, this light color here. Okay, and that's good. And then last, we're just going to do these little center bits. So we can get this color. Oops, I'm making extra swatches. Just grab that one. And you can just color that in like so. Okay, wonderful. So let's just collect all of our layers here by swiping to the right, group them. Let's just name this flower 2. And that looks great. Now I'm going to actually move flower 1 all the way on top so that it goes in front. And actually I can do that with flower 2 so that all of our layers, because flower 3 needs to go behind everything. So that looks good. So 1, 2, 3 in that new order. So let's just turn these off and we can do this one here. So create a new layer, pop it below. We can stay with this color and our monoline, of course, and we're just going to color this in. Okay, that's filled, and I've made a little error here, so let's fix that. There it goes. All right, create a new layer, get the light green. Since this is on top, we can go over this, which is great. Okay, You have your green. Let's create a new layer on top of that. Go to the light pink again, and we'll fill this all in. Okay, and then this here. Okay, great. Now with this, we will need the little centers of this little bit. You can get this color here, just that light color. Now if you want it lighter, you can, or more yellow. We can just do that, or we can lighten it up later as well. I'll show you a little trick. Okay, so we can collect all of these here, group them, and we'll do flower 3. Wonderful. Okay, so that all looks good. That's all working nicely, and they all work nicely by themselves as well. So let's get a little bit more paint on them. So let's go to our first one, our flower one, and let's go to the pot, create a new layer, tap on it, make it a clipping mask, so we won't be painting outside of that. I'm gonna go and get this darker color here, and let's use the watercolor. If you go down to the bottom, it's under the single sample section. You can just use that watercolor brush. I wonder if this won't be quite dark enough. I'm going to use the darker color then. Actually, no, I'll just change this because that's quite dark. Let's just see if that's a bit, yeah, that's better. Okay, I'll just edit that. There you are. Okay, so then we'll just give this, my brush is around 6, just lightly dust the sides and fade it into the center, just so that we're having a little bit of shadow and making that look a little bit round. That's all you need to do. Okay, so before we do our highlights, I'm going to move on and do the rest of the shadows for our other layers. So just go to our green layer, and I'm going to tap on that, make it a clipping mask for a new layer on top. I'm going to go and choose oil paint, and I'm going to use the dark green. Now use a very light pressure. See, dark pressure is going to make it dark like this. I personally don't want that. If you do that, you go for it. But just a really light pressure, I'm just being really very light-handed. And that just gives it a nice texture. So I'm just kind of focusing more on the right-hand side, just giving that a little bit. Okay, I think that looks good. Onto this layer, our top layer, with our flower layer, create a new layer on top, make it a clipping mask. Get the second pink, still with our oil paint brush. At the base, just give it some color. I'm just scrubbing it. You can just give it a few more layers if you want it to be a little bit darker. Just lightly coming up. Just create that depth more at the bottom. Those ones in behind. And if you want to go to this color here and just go over it a little bit more at the base, just a little bit closer to the bottom, that'll create even more depth and a little bit of pop there. Okay, I think that's probably good. Well, maybe a little bit more here. I like this brush, it just gives you this little bit of texture. It's kind of fun. Okay, lovely. Now we have our flowers down here. We don't have to do too much to it, but we'll give them a little bit of love. So with the darkest purple, just kind of, you know, here and there, just add a little bit of depth, particularly to the petals that would be behind. Okay, that's more than enough. Wonderful. Okay, so at the very top of all of your fill layers here, right below your line layer of your flowers one, create a new layer. Tap on the N, change it to add, go to 25%, and choose this light color here. This will be great for our highlights. And then go get the variegated edge brush that's found in the Flower Masterclass, and we'll just do this. So my brush is at about 18 maybe. Let's just see if that works. So again, play with your pressure. Maybe I'll have it even bigger. Just kind of bringing it from the top, doing the reverse of what we were doing with the shadows, which of course makes sense. And then you'll have Now I'm down to 30. Just keep changing it to kind of whatever fits. Just doing it on the left hand side. Just lightly like that. And you can have some on here. So see how the color changes because of that color mode with the add? Just makes all the highlights actually a little bit a different color depending on what color it's interacting with. And we can see how that changes there? That's what I like about this. It's kind of fun. So you can just kind of do this, blend it out. Now, if this brush isn't blending as nicely as you would wish, then you can go to your smudge tool. You can use either the watercolor works nice, or any other soft brush, that's fine too. And you can just smudge that out a little bit. Okay, same with here. If this has gotten a bit harsh, you can kind of, soften a few of the edges if you want. Okay, lovely. So that is done for that. So let's go to our flowers number 2. So let's just turn this off so we can see our full thing. So go to the pot, we will create a new layer on top, use a clipping mask. Let's go and use that watercolor brush again. And I think this might be okay, this color here. Let's give it a go. And we have our clipping mask, we're ready. Just give this just a little bit of shade. And I'm going to make a pattern on this as well. So once you have a little shade here, a little bit underneath maybe, let's go ahead and create a new layer, tap on it, make it a clipping mask so all of these are clipped to here. I'm going to just get this white color here. Let's make it even. Actually, you know what? Just do this color and bring it over so you make it even more white. Bring the monoline, grab that. And just at this front here, you don't have to do the back, but just the front. Let's just fill this. And then go and get this light pink here. And let's do some polka dots. So this could be kind of like it's glazed and painted with a fun little pattern. Something simple like that. Love it. Perfect. Okay, great. Then let's move on to our flowers, and I'll create a new layer, tap on it, make it a clipping mask. Let's just get this color here. I'm gonna use the watercolor again and just give that a little shadow below. Be really light-handed, just like that. It'll make it look more rounded. All right, and then we can go and maybe try this color or even the purple. Let's just try the purple. Yeah, I like that. A little shadow under here. Lovely. Okay, and then go up to here where our greenery is, create a new layer, make it a clipping mask, go to the dark green, to the oil paint, and let's just very lightly give it a little texture, a little shadow. You don't really need to do too much to the stems here, maybe a little bit behind there. So that pushes that back, makes it look like it's behind. Okay, good stuff. Now we can create a new layer that's not clipped to anything. We'll go and do add again, make it about 25% opacity. Choose this light color and the variegated edge. And let's give it a little highlights. So we'll start with our leaves here. All on the left-hand side. And we can lighten up this pot a little bit. Just gonna do that and then use my smudge tool. You can really smudge it out a bit if you'd like. Okay, back to my brush. And then let's have some highlights here. Now these I'm gonna have, so it's a smaller brush, maybe around 18. Oh, maybe I'll need it even smaller than that. Maybe about 7. Just so I can kind of do some dots. Just again, creating that texture, right? Maybe a little on the center here just to highlight that as well. Okay. Lovely. Let's have a look. We can close that, turn this on, see how that's working together. Very nice. Okay, let's go to our last one here. Again, I'll turn this one off and we'll find the pot here, create a new layer, tap on it, clipping mask. Go and choose your monoline brush again. We're going to do another little design and use that light white, like almost white but not quite white monoline brush, and we're just going to fill this in easily. And go and pick this light pink here, and we can just do some nice little stripes. Wonderful. Just gonna make sure that's clean there. Okay, that looks good. And then on top of this, we can just create a new layer, make a new clipping mask. Go to this color here with the watercolor and just shade this a little bit. Just be light on this one below, because I don't want it too dark. Maybe a little shadow under that little bit of greenery. Okay, now we'll go to the green, create a new layer, make it a clipping mask. Go and choose our oil paint and the dark green. Just a touch of shading. Don't have too much here. Maybe a little bit underneath this bit here to show the shading of the flower. Yeah, not a load to do there. Okay, wonderful. Now to our flower layer, create a new layer, tap on it, make it a clipping mask. Use this color here, we'll start there, and grab the variegated edge, and we'll just simply follow kind of our lines that we've been doing. Create a shadow under there, just following these curves here. And this should all be filled with this color too. It'll help show the change of that flipping up like that. Okay, good for that. And we'll do a bit of a darker color as well. So a little bit down here. And then bring in this, I'm kind of tempted to do this purple again. Let's have a go with that. Let's see. Yeah, I quite like that. So use the purple for this hit down here, a little bit of more depth. Now, if you want to blend it out a little bit, we can use our smudge tool if you don't want it quite as harsh in some areas. So I'm just going to use that smudge tool and just maybe blend out a few of these hard edges. I think that looks good. I'm going to use this lighter purple here just to bring in a little bit here, maybe like that, and then I'll just use my smudge tool just to soften that edge. Now I'm totally taking it out, but I want a little bit more down here. Okay. Lovely. And then we'll go back and get the darker purple, just do a little bit here at the base, something like that. Okay, I think that looks nice. Lovely. Okay, and at the very top of all of our coloring layers, I'm just going to change this N to add and bring it to 25%. Go to this light color and still with variegated edge, let's just do our highlights here. I'm gonna get a nice bigger brush. I don't know, it's at about 28 or so. Just do whatever kind of feels good to you. Just be really light with your pressure, barely touching anything. And again, we can blend if we need to, which I might. I definitely will here. Okay. So I'm just using my smudge tool just to blend that out. Okay, that looks good. And I think I'm just going to soften these a little bit too. just at the ends. Yeah, that's probably good. I'm going back to my brush. Maybe I'll just highlight that just a touch. It's so small, it doesn't need a lot. Okay, so then let's just bring back this flower here. Now the last thing we need to do is just create a new layer, bring it below, and let's just get this color here with the, let's see, I think the watercolor brush would be nice. Let's just give it a little shadow here. So all to the right, so that it looks like they're sitting, not just floating in midair. I'm just changing my brush to be a little bit smaller. Getting nice and tight to the base here. Okay, and if you want, you can use your smudge tool if you just want to soften the edges a bit. Like so. So if you go ahead and turn off that shadow layer, obviously you can see how easily you can use these on their own or move them around. You know, you can change your composition, you can add something to it, you can just use them individually or all together as they are. So it's a nice versatile way to work. When you're not all doing your line work all on one line, you're having them in groups. So each element is its own illustration, but also works all together. All right. So I hope you've enjoyed drawing these with me. You can use these individually or keep them together as a collection. It's such a lovely way to build your own illustrations. If you'd like the brushes, colors, canvas, and my free Procreate for Beginners course, you can find everything inside the goodie bag linked below. And if you'd like to take these a step further, I'll show you how to turn illustrations like these into repeating patterns right here. Make sure to subscribe if you'd like more tutorials like this. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.